The black rotary telephone behind the motel counter had not rung after midnight in nearly 11 years. Not once. Not since the highway changed, the truckers stopped coming, and the Whitaker Motor Lodge became a place people passed by in the rain. But on a cold October night in 1974, while Earl Whitaker sat alone with a cup of black coffee gone bitter, that old phone rang, like it had been waiting 30 years to speak. Earl stared at it before he touched it. The sound cut through the quiet lobby, through the rain tapping the glass, through the old smell of cigarette smoke, floor wax, and damp coats. If stories like this remind you of a quieter America, take a moment to subscribe and settle in with us tonight. Earl was 71 years old then, thin as a fence rail, with tired eyes and hands that shook when the weather turned. He still wore a white shirt and suspenders every evening, though hardly anyone came through anymore. Behind him, the room keys hung on brass hooks. Only one was missing, room 12. An old woman named Mabel Price had taken it before sundown, paid cash, and said she did not need help with her suitcase. The telephone rang again. Earl lifted the receiver slowly. Whitaker Motor Lodge. For a moment, he heard only rain and a faint crackle on the line. Then a woman's voice came through, weak and far away. "Earl!" His breath stopped. No one called him that way anymore. Not soft, not careful, not like his name was something breakable. He pressed the receiver harder to his ear. "Who is this?" The voice trembled. "Earl, I never left you." Then the line went dead. Earl stood there with the receiver in his hand, long after the dial tone came humming back. His face had gone pale beneath the yellow lobby light. 30 years earlier, his wife Clara had disappeared after a terrible argument. Folks said she ran off with a salesman who played piano in Kansas City. Earl believed it, because believing anger was easier than believing pain. He told himself Clara had made her choice. He told himself he hated her, but he never threw away the phone she used to answer. He set the receiver down and looked toward the rain-dark window. Across the lot, the vacancy sign buzzed red against the wet pavement. Room 12 had one lamp burning. Then Earl noticed something on the counter beside the phone. A small folded paper. It had not been there before. His fingers opened it slowly. In faded blue ink, it read, "Ask Harold what he told me the night I came back." Earl did not sleep that night. He sat behind the counter until morning came pale and gray over the highway, holding that folded paper between two fingers, like it might burn him. Rainwater dripped from the motel awning. Somewhere down the road, a milk truck groaned past, its headlights sliding across the lobby wall and the old framed photograph of Earl and Clara from 1943. In that picture, Earl still had dark hair. Clara stood beside him in a blue dress with white buttons, smiling like life had not yet shown its teeth. Her hand rested on the very same counter where the black rotary telephone sat now. "Ask Harold what he told me the night I came back." Earl read the words again. Harold was his older brother, a church deacon, a retired feed store owner, a man everyone in town trusted. After Clara disappeared, Harold had been the one who stood beside Earl at the sheriff's office. Harold had been the one who said, "Some women get restless, Earl. Don't chase shame down the road." Earl had believed him. Near 7 o'clock, Mrs. Mabel Price from room 12 came into the lobby, wearing a brown coat and carrying her suitcase. Her face was lined, but her eyes were sharp. "Rough night?" she asked. Earl folded the paper quickly. "Storm kept me up." She looked at the telephone, then back at him. Old phones have a way of keeping memories alive. Earl frowned. "You know something about this place?" Mabel held her purse close. "I knew Clara." The words landed hard. Earl stepped from behind the counter. "What did you say?" Mabel looked toward the window, as if the past might be standing in the parking lot. "I worked nights at the telephone exchange in town back in 1944. Clara called this motel one evening. She was crying. She asked for you." Earl's throat tightened. "She never called me." "Yes," Mabel said softly. "She did." The lobby seemed to shrink around him. "She told me she had made a mistake leaving angry," Mabel continued. "She said she was coming home from the train station. But when I connected the call, a man answered. He said you did not want her back." Earl's voice came out rough. "Who?" Mabel swallowed. "I did not see his face. Operators heard voices, not faces. But I knew it was not you." Earl turned slowly toward the wall, where Harold's old hunting photograph hung beside the motel license. That night, just before midnight, the rotary phone rang again. Earl picked it up with both hands. This time, the woman's voice whispered, "He said you burned my letters." Earl closed his eyes. "I never saw any letters," he said. On the line, the woman began to cry. Then she said, "Look under the loose floorboard in the old laundry room," and the call went silent. Earl found the loose floorboard before dawn. The old laundry room sat behind the motel office, smelling of dust, soap flakes, and years nobody cared to count. Clara used to fold sheets in there with the radio low, humming along to Glenn Miller while coffee warmed on the stove. Earl knelt with a screwdriver and lifted the board. Under it was a small tin box wrapped in a flour sack. Inside were 7 letters, all from Clara. His hands shook as he opened the first one. "Earl, I was wrong to walk out angry. I am at the station, but I am coming home tonight. Please answer when I call. I do not want pride to bury love." Earl covered his mouth. The next letter was dated 2 weeks later. "I came back. Harold met me outside. He said you hated me. He said you burned my clothes and told him never to let me near the motel again. I watched the lobby light from across the road and waited for you to come out. You never did." Earl's eyes filled. He read them all before the sun came up. Clara had never run away with another man. She had returned that same night, soaked from the rain, carrying 1 suitcase and the little silver music box Earl bought her before the war. Harold had stopped her outside and filled her heart with lies. The last letter was different. The writing was weak. "I am sick now, Earl. Maybe it is too late for us, but I need you to know I loved you. Every year on the day I left, I called the motel. Harold answered twice. After that, no one did. I think he made sure you never heard the phone ring." That afternoon, Earl drove to Harold's house on Maple Street. Harold was 80, sitting in his front room beneath a clock that ticked too loud. When Earl placed the letters on his lap, Harold did not ask where they came from. He only looked away. "Why?" Earl whispered. Harold's mouth trembled. "Because Pa left the motel to you. Because Clara made you soft. Because I thought if she came back, you'd forget what you owed this family." Earl stared at his brother like he had become a stranger. "You stole 30 years from us." Harold began to cry, but Earl did not stay to watch. That night, Earl returned to the motel and sat behind the counter. At midnight, the rotary phone rang one final time. He lifted it gently. No crying came through. No storm. Only Clara's voice, tired but peaceful. "Earl, I know now," he said. "I waited as long as I could. I'm sorry, Clara. I know." The line grew quiet. Then she said, "Let yourself live before you come looking for me." The call ended. Earl kept the motel open 1 more year. He painted the porch, served fresh coffee again, and took Clara's photograph out of the drawer. But he never replaced that black rotary telephone. Some things are not meant to be thrown away. Some things wait until the heart is finally ready to answer.